Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to podcast number 8.
Number 8, Chris.
Number 8, thank you. With Ross Murphy.
Yeah, I'm on my own.
And me. Well, you're not on your own.
Well, I'm not on my own.
You've got me. We are Snoo with 2.
Yeah.
Should we do the theme tune?
Yeah, should we...
God, he sounds excited.
Come on.
Let's go. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Yes, anyway, so unfortunately we don't have Adam or Bobbin with us this evening, but not to worry, we can crack on. We've got loads to talk about because it was CinemaCon this week, just gone. So there's been loads of news and stuff, and it's all quite exciting. Loads of trailers. And
Chris, tell me about the news.
Oh, okay, I will. Before we get to all the CinemaCon stuff, there's some very exciting news in your favourite line of movies, Ross. The Fast and the Furious and the Expendables movies. I know how much you love them.
I've never seen an Expendables movie.
Have you not?
No.
Don't bother.
I don't need to, but the trailers are frankly fantastic. I've seen all the trailers for the Expendables, and that's, I think, all I need to see.
Is that like the Kong trailer, is it? Where it looks phenomenal, and then it's probably no example of the actual movie.
What we're talking about? Skull Island.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Have you seen it now?
I've not seen the movie, but it's got quite mixed reviews.
Right. Okay.
I might rip it off the internet or something soon. But
stop stealing content.
Yeah, but I'd rather see Ghost in the Shell this week.
Okay.
I think that's a valid excuse, to be fair. But yes, so I think you're right. Expendables, they're pretty shit, and Sylvester Stallone's not going to be part of it anymore.
Does that mean it just doesn't? It should just stop now, then, shouldn't it?
I would have thought so.
I thought it was his,
thought it was his baby.
Yeah, it was his baby, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm just going to say yes.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to contribute to this. I've never watched any of them.
You like Fast and Furious, though, don't you?
Yeah, Fast and Furious is very good.
So the new movie that's just coming out, the Fate of the Furious, it's without
or Fast 8,
but still
just
without.
Call it Fast 8.
Why is Fate not
got
an 8
in the?
Why is it not F8?
Because it's not a video game. That's the sort of thing shit you get on a game.
Yeah,
a video
but they
game
did it with Fan 4 Stick. So anyways, yes, it's the beginning of a new trilogy. Apparently, that'll please you.
Well, of course it is. That it just keeps making more and more money, so why not?
Well,
They say trilogy. What they actually mean is just the next 3 films in the franchise, don't they?
Fair.
Because they keep saying trilogy, and then somebody comes along and goes, "Oh, let's make a 4th film. Let's make a load of prequels."
You've seen them all. Do they have an arc?
I think I don't know if you cut this out because I don't always listen to podcasts, but no, I haven't got the time. It's not that I don't have time to listen to this podcast. One, who wants to listen to themselves being an idiot? And then 2, I do listen to a lot of podcasts. If I don't listen to podcasts about other things, I won't have anything to contribute to this podcast.
That's very true.
Yes, there is a story arc which they weirdly tied up in the last movie, because actually there's movies that are prequels that you don't know are prequels until the timeline shifts halfway through the franchise.
Didn't they do something weird with like actors being?
Yeah, they literally they
aged or something.
They age a decade between a jump cut, because it's like a scene from the end of the 3rd movie is actually they pick up straight after that for a scene at the end of the 7th movie, and
right.
But 10 years have gone past.
Okay.
And some Hollywood actors aren't as handsome as other Hollywood actors and don't age quite so well, do they?
Age digitally or?
No, they just...
Oh, you mean... Oh, I
they
see
tried
what you
their
mean.
best to make him not look like he went from 30 to 40.
Because it was filmed literally 10 years ago. Right, I see what you mean. Okay, so yeah, I shall have to watch them at some point, just for that very reason, I think. I suppose there's some good action and stuff. They're probably worth my time, do you think?
They are. Obviously it's a bit of a slog, isn't it? It's 14 hours probably about that of
wow.
movie, but
I've just gotten through Iron Fist. I'm sure I can bloody get through that.
It was that bad?
It was 13 episodes of grueling. It just felt so lengthy.
I think just before I came to record, and I fell asleep twice because it's the end of the working day.
Right.
I think it was the season finale for Walking Dead.
It was, yeah.
Oh, it was the finale.
It was,
yeah.
And I don't know anything about it. I'm going to catch up at some point.
Yeah, don't bother.
No?
What you need is somebody to do you a supercut of just cut out all the shit.
I tend to do my own supercut. Just like maybe watch an episode in between the seasons, but watch the season beginning and the season finale or maybe the mid-season finale every now and then. But that's all I've done for the last 3 seasons.
My friend Ian, he hates Sam from Game of Thrones so much. He always just wants somebody to do him an edit of each season as it comes out with no Sam in at all. I understand why. He finds it really annoying.
Right, Tomb Raider. Potentially, hopefully, maybe the first ever decent computer game movie that we might ever get. There have been some official images released this week.
Yeah, it looks really good. Well, it looks. When I say it looks really good, it looks exactly like the Tomb Raider reboot game. There's 2 now, and they're both really good.
Cool. I've not played either. I've not played a Tomb Raider, I don't think, since the 3rd one, possibly on the PlayStation 1. Maybe it was the PlayStation 2, but I think it was PS1.
But they're both really good and worth playing. And I don't know if you've got a console new enough to play them on, but
I've got an Xbox 360.
You can play the
Wii.
You can play the rebooted Tomb Raider on Xbox 360.
Cool. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll spend my time watching stuff instead. I don't know. Anyway, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Have you seen any trailers?
No, is this Guy Ritchie's new movie?
It is, yes.
Yeah, see, I knew that.
You did, didn't you?
Yep.
So it's kind of lots of Guy Ritchie type fight scenes and stuff, but it's King Arthur. So swords and things.
Do you feel that King Arthur has... They just keep going back to it, don't they?
Well, it's
been
a while.
The only other thing that's ever been... The only thing that gets made more than King Arthur movies? Peter Pan.
I suppose you're right.
Peter Pan gets rebooted every sort of 2 or 3 years.
When was King Arthur then? Did we have a King Arthur one a couple of years ago then?
There was King Arthur with Sean Connery.
Was there?
Yep, sure there was. There was Excalibur, which is the really old one, which is a bit weird now, but the suits of armour are really amazing.
I like that one. That's a really good one.
You had the Keira Knightley, Clive Owen one.
Clive Owen, is that the guy from not City of Lost Children?
Sin City. City of Children of Men and Sin City.
And Sin City, yeah, that's true.
One thing I learned from Sin City is if you're a cool action hero in a movie wearing red Converse All-Stars, the reason you can pull that off is because you're a cool action hero. If a normal human being buys a pair of red Converse, they look like a fucking clown.
Hang on, who had red Converse on?
I did.
Ah.
And then I went, these are brilliant, and I put them on, and I went, I'm 10 years too old to be wearing these, and I look like a fucking clown. I don't even have big feet.
Oh dear. So you weren't happy with your purchase?
No. Put them on eBay.
Did you get much for them?
Probably what I paid for them.
It doesn't matter, I'll cut it out.
Cut that out.
Right, yeah, okay, so King Arthur, I don't think it looks great. It's the guy from Sons of Anarchy, and I don't think he's a very good actor.
He's the guy in Pacific Rim,
yeah.
As well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a bit wooden, do you think?
Yeah. He's not. He's
the perfect answer to, he's a bit wooden, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of reminds me a bit of Orlando Bloom in that respect.
Do you think?
Well, not...
He was alright in Pirates, I thought. You just don't like Pirates, do you?
No, I loved the first one.
Did you?
The first one's really good.
The new one is actually getting some very good reactions from test audiences. Right, The Mummy.
We still don't care about this movie, do we?
You know what? It actually looks okay. I think, as far as trailers go, I'm quite taken.
I'm so indifferent. I'm just like, I don't... The 2 Brendan Fraser Mummy movies are just... That's all I need.
Fair, but...
They're really, really good. They're so much fun.
They were good at the time as well, though, weren't they? I don't know if I'd rewatch them now.
I'd definitely watch them both hungover.
Would you?
Yeah.
I think there's so many things I'd choose over them. I just wouldn't. But at least it's kind of a newish, freshish take on the story to a degree. Oh, okay. What I mean is, it's a female mummy. Yay for feminism, I suppose. But at the same time, does that make it a fresh take? Maybe not. It's got Tom Cruise in it.
Yeah, I don't know why. He's obviously seen something in the script, otherwise he just wouldn't make it. But I'm not interested in it. But every day is Christmas Eve, isn't it?
Maybe he's just wrapped up on it because it's some Scientologist making it or something.
Yeah, I think Scientology have probably learnt their mistakes from Battlefield Earth, haven't they?
Was that Scientology funded?
That's it's John Travolta, isn't it? Yeah,
it is.
When he was writing up to his neck, but then. I think it's literally. whatever the Scientology version of the Book of Genesis is. Like, this is what happened on Earth before humans arrived. I think it's that.
Really?
Yeah. Or it's just an L. Ron Hubbard book. But he was apparently a really bad writer as well.
You've not read any of his works then?
No, the guy. No.
Okay, so the Aquaman writer, Will Beall, is...
Who's that?
That was Ben Johnson phoning. If you're listening to this, Ben, stop phoning me when I'm doing the podcast every Monday. Right, so Aquaman writer Will Beall is producing the script for Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Another reboot?
Well, it's all part of the same
these are the
franchise.
Yeah, fucking hell. Should we just rename this podcast Reboots and Franchises? Do we need them?
No, Snow with the Crew sounds better.
Yeah. I genuinely, I turn up and I'm like, right, if we're going to talk about something worth talking about, I'm going to get really excited and talk about it and probably accidentally swear way too much. But then you just start going, yeah, there's a new Mummy film and somebody's writing The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I've just...
Have you ever noticed, though, that I try and break you in a little easy with like the stuff that you're not so interested in, and then we go into stuff that's like a bit cooler later on?
Yeah, but also... what's going on in the Sheldon Cooper Big Bang Theory reboot this week?
Yeah, that usually gets into the high point there somewhere, because it's good.
Fuck off.
Do you like David Lynch?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Mulholland Drive?
No.
Do you know it's getting a re-release?
What, like at the cinema?
Yes, it is.
No, I didn't know that. I like the fact that they do this. They should do this more.
They should. And that's one of the subjects we've actually had on our list for ages, actually, is movies that we'd dearly love to see at the cinema. And if you get the chance, actually, it's a bloody good one. Out of all of Lynch's work, I think it's probably one of the most accessible. You've got the obviously accessible stuff like Dune and The Elephant Man, but in reality, Mulholland Drive is accessible enough to make people go in, enjoy the movie, and come out scratching their heads.
Yeah, I'll. When do we know when it's coming out?
The 14th of April.
That's good. Goodfellas or Casino? I can't remember which one it is.
It's
coming
Casino.
out. It's Casino.
Yeah,
Goodfellas was a couple of years back, I think, wasn't it?
Right. So
but yeah, I would love to see Casino at the cinema. I'd like to say again, but I didn't see it at the cinema the first time it came out.
No, I didn't. I think I was too young.
No, I was probably just starting to get into films back then.
Right.
Because I think it came out after Reservoir Dogs.
Maybe I was thinking, yeah, perhaps that was it. Perhaps I just didn't really get into movies properly until I was in my 20s, thinking about it. That probably came out when I was about 18.
Yeah. I think it would have been a Tarantino movie or a Scorsese movie that makes you just go, sit up and go, whoa, films can be like this.
Yeah. Danny Boyle as well, actually. Was one of the first ones. Trainspotting. And, you're right, From Dusk Till Dawn.
I remember Reservoir Dogs was the first 18 that I ever snuck into underage.
Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
You saw it at the cinema?
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be cool.
But also, I'd see it again at the cinema because I was 15 when I saw it.
Anyway, yeah, Naomi Watts. Mulholland Drive was one of the first movies I ever really noticed her in. Do you like Naomi Watts?
Is she the lady from King Kong?
King Kong, 21 grams. Or is it Emeros Peros? No, it's 21 grams. You seen 21 grams?
She's one of those actresses where I've seen her in lots of things, but I'm struggling to name one of them.
Right, okay. Oh, The Ring. Wasn't she in the Ring remakes?
Was it The Ring or was it The Grudge? No, it's The Ring. She is in The Ring.
Okay, probably not one of her best parts, but it's my opinion that she's a bloody good actress.
Yeah, she's Australian, isn't she?
Is she?
We don't hold that against her.
No, of course not. But have you seen Mulholland Drive?
No.
She is phenomenal. Absolutely groundbreaking. Her part in it, literally... there's this scene where she's applying for a role in a movie and she just snaps in and out of a character inside the... It's like, what do you call that? A character inside of a character. It's like Inception.
Split.
With bloody inscription.
It's probably something... Oh, fuck off. Seriously. It's probably something they do all the time. They practice doing that as well.
Oh yeah, maybe snapping from one character into another and then back into
yeah.
Oh, I saw Split last night, and yeah, talk about people being able to do that. That was pretty phenomenal. It's very good. That's my review. It's very good. Go watch it. Yeah, cracking on with the news, I guess. Oh, relative news. David Lynch is going to be a bit of a busy boy. Twin Peaks has got its third season, of course, coming this year. And I think I'm right in saying you've not seen Twin Peaks, have I?
We spoke about this off air, didn't we? Because we've both been watching Fortitude, and I was like, I've never seen Twin Peaks, but I imagine Fortitude's a bit like it because it's a weird town in the middle of nowhere.
That's exactly kind of one of my reasons for bringing it up, because I think we should chat about Fortitude. If you're a big Twin Peaks fan, like I am, then one show that's probably going to push your buttons is this program that me and Ross are watching at the moment. It's called Fortitude. It's produced by Sky, and it's got the same... Was produced by Sky. Yeah,
the Amazon have picked up season 3.
Oh, okay. So is season 2 complete?
Season 2's finished now.
So it's less episodes. We'll cover that in a minute. Right, so it's got the same kind of wackiness to the characters that Twin Peaks has. How far into it are you?
I've seen all of season 1 now.
Right, okay. I've just started season 2, and it seems to have carried through. The storyline is carrying, the arc is carrying through as well.
Okay, I don't think we want to do any spoilers, so we say no spoilers after sort of episode 5.
If I can remember what happened, you might have to guide me.
Right, it's worth watch. It's definitely worth watching. It's weird to start with because it's a funny production as well because it was obviously funded by the Sky,
right?
But it's based on I'm assuming a fictitious place on an offshore island as part of Norway.
Right.
But actually it's filmed in Iceland.
Yes.
Because everything's filmed in Iceland these days.
Parts of it in the UK as well. Is it super cheap to film in Iceland or something?
There's obviously huge tax breaks and it gets scouted a lot now. I think Prometheus was probably the big breakout movie that made people start scouting Iceland for films.
It looks pretty dramatic then. That being said,
but the town's called Fortitude, and it's got like a population of like 3,000 or something, hasn't it?
Yeah, and nobody ever dies there.
Because all of this is explained in the first episode. This isn't a spoiler. You're not allowed to die in Fortitude because it never gets warm enough that stuff rots.
Yeah,
so you can't be buried on Fortitude.
Yeah, there you go, and it's naturally rich in archaeological finds and things like that as well, isn't it?
So yeah, there's always people at Fortitude searching for, like, there's a scientific research base there as well, isn't there?
Yeah,
so they're always looking for like mammoths and things like that. The other thing to note is it's famous in this fictional world for its polar bears as well, isn't it?
Right, that makes a lot of sense. So there's a certain scene right at the beginning involving a polar bear, which, I guess you'd hope if you were that person in that situation, what happens wouldn't happen quite so quickly. But yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's it's a very sharp open, isn't it?
It is,
yeah. But to be honest, it's a very slow burn.
Very slow burn, yeah.
But there is an episode about halfway through that makes it move to that, I have to watch this.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's episode 5. Something happens in episode 5 that makes you just go back.
The kid, maybe?
No, it's Shirley and the...
okay. Yeah. Okay.
One of the issues me and Anna had with it was, I think it's deliberate, but it felt the way some of these characters behave makes you almost feel like the acting's really bad.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But some of the people are like the guy that plays, what's his name, Dandaris, is it, in Game of Thrones, the head of the Brothers Without Banners.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's the
I've just realised who he is.
Okay,
yeah.
So he's the main cop dude in it,
and he's Scandinavian in real life. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Because that's the other thing. Half the cast it's really weird. Like, there are Scandinavian actors who speak really good English with a Scandinavian accent. And then there's just all these English actors from all parts of England with all these weird accents.
It's
like
a real clusterfuck, isn't it? Of different accents and things. And you can't work out. I suppose you could play kind of bad actor or Scandinavian.
Bad actor and or Scandinavian.
But... I suppose most of the acting it's all passable, and the general feel of the craziness of it would cover up any kind of wooden performances, and it would just merge right in. The same as with Twin Peaks, in all honesty. A lot of the characters in Fortitude have got that quirkiness to them.
Yeah, and while we're talking about the acting, it's just made me remember that actually the two best people in the show, and probably because they're the best actors in the show, are Michael Gambon, who most of you probably know as Dumbledore. He plays a really old, washed-up drunk, but he's really, really good at it. And Stanley Tucci is really, really good.
Oh yeah,
as well.
True. Yeah,
and he's weirdly, obviously, Sky trying to sell it across the other side of the pond. They cast a FBI agent who now works for the London Metropolitan Police Force
for some strange reason
that's never answered in the show.
It's never explained at all, is it?
No.
Still, okay, it's definitely gets my recommendation. I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to season 2, and I guess we'll pick this up with a proper spoiler cast at a later date when some more people have seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Maybe get Gillian Anna on.
I wonder if it's going to hit mainstream. I don't know, but we'll see.
I think the fact Sky have dropped it, the answer to that is no. But then at the same time, Amazon could just pump a load of money into it and turn it into something that it's not.
True. Just completely change the makeup of it.
Even Amazon's big shows aren't big. If you don't have Amazon Prime, I don't tend to watch. Like, people bang on about Vikings all the time, but I've never felt the need to watch it.
I did try, and I didn't get on with it. Gotta admit. I think Bobbin's on it at the moment. Pretty sure he's a good few seasons in, but yeah.
Yeah, because that's on a good few seasons as well now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think maybe 6. Anyway, so Twin Peaks is going to air on the 21st of May, and there's going to be a 2-hour episode, and then after that they'll be premiering an additional 2 episodes streaming online, and then the series will, at Lynch's insistence, be weekly. There'll be 18 episodes in total, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
He's just saying to them, no, I don't want you to drop it all at once. So while you're waiting for all that to drop, then Fortitude is maybe a way to cut your teeth as well. If you've never seen either of these programs, Fortitude might be kind of a lighter way in, but definitely go back and watch Twin Peaks season 1 and 2 because they're cool. Just
one quick note on Fortitude is the scenery's absolutely breathtaking and gorgeous. It's on a glacier. Watch it just for that.
True.
Fjordland, Iceland.
More TV. What about bloody Rick and Morty? Have you seen Rick and Morty?
I've never seen Rick and Morty, and everyone on this whole entire podcast talks about it all the time.
You know why?
It's really good.
Yeah, it's bloody fantastic. I tell you what, while on the subject, although Adam can't be with us this evening, I'm pretty sure he sent us in a soundbite. So hang on a sec, let's just see if we can cue that up.
It's a soundbite.
It's a soundbite. Hello, Adam.
So Series 3 of Rick and Morty is out. The start of Series 3. We have the first episode, which was not an April Fool's. It was released free through the Adult Swim website in America. Not sure that you can get access to it over here in Britain. That may come with time. Brilliant episode, very, very funny. I enjoyed it a lot, just as much as all the other episodes of the last 2 series. Don't want to spoil it for anyone. Don't know if you guys have seen it, so maybe you can let the listeners know if you've watched it and what you thought of it. Also, maybe you could let me know what your favourite episodes were and what your favourite characters were. My favourite episodes so far out of the 2 and 1 episodes of series was the episode Mr. Meeseeks, who is my favourite character, every single one of them, and also the episode with the parasites. I can't think what the episode's called. Basically, the family get locked into the house because they realise there are parasites, and there are all these crazy characters, including things like Mr. Poopy Butthole, Reverse Giraffe, characters like that who might be just within the imagination of the family due to the parasite's way of working. So, overall, what did you think of the new episode if you saw it? If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's amazing, very, very funny. And what are your favourite episodes so far of the last 2 series and favourite characters? I'll catch you guys soon.
Ross, you haven't seen it, so I guess that's all on me.
Yeah, it's up to you, Chris.
Fair enough.
Talk away.
I'm going to answer those in reverse order, I think, because, it's fresh in my mind. The favourite episodes, I've got to agree, those 2 were my first choices, so I guess I've got to choose something else, you bastard, Adam. So I'm going to go with the Giant Head, Show Me What You Got episode. That's bloody good, with Get Swifty, the song. And the one with the dogs taking over the world, that's amazing, which I think might be called Lawnmower Dog, possibly. Oh, and the episode with the hive mind, so that's like the Borg type thing, with Unity and dating Unity, which is imagine the concept, Ross. It's like a guy trying to date a hive mind.
That sounds really weird. The thing is, right, is this show as weird as Adventure Time?
It is exactly as weird as Adventure Time.
Then it's probably too weird for me.
I don't think. I think you should give it a chance. In honesty, that the episode that Adam talked about there, the one with the brain parasites, I tried to use that to introduce people to the program, specifically to a friend, Ben. Stop phoning me during the podcast, Ben. That one, who didn't get on with it. But it might be because he wasn't paying attention. However, I think there are easier episodes. You should definitely give it a go.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on about every bloody streaming service you can find anywhere.
Is it? Okay, I should track it down.
I've been watching the whole thing on Kiss Cartoon just recently. I don't know if the episode 1 of season 3 is on Kiss Cartoon, but it's definitely available on Watch Cartoons, both .com and .eu, which is where I watched it in the UK yesterday. There are links to the EU site on our Facebook page, Snoo with the Crew. Adam's other question was, did I enjoy the episode? The answer is yes. I was quietly pleased because, if something's coming back for a third season, it's been such a long time in production, you kind of end up thinking, oh, are they going to capture the same spirit? Is it going to be the same thing? And I tell you what, it bloody is. They cracked it. They really did a good job. So thanks, Adam, for that soundbite. Season 3, episode 1 is a cracker. So Game of Thrones, did you see the trailer, Ross?
Was it the teaser?
What, the one with the spinning sculpture?
No, I thought it was just a teaser of Jon, Daenerys, and
having a bit
Cersei.
of a walkabout, like listening to All Sit Down by James.
Was that what it was?
It was.
Is it a real trailer or is it a teaser?
It's a teaser.
I love Game of Thrones, but all the teasers do are nothing for me because they just make...
They tease you.
They're horrible. they're unnecessary.
Wow.
Just show me somebody getting stabbed in the dick with a sword.
Nice.
Because that's happened, hasn't
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for Game of Thrones. People get knifed up all the time.
Oh, and genitalia removed. Yeah, that's a bloody good scene. You're a Game of Thrones fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I really like Game of Thrones.
I love it too.
I read the books. I'm not one of these, I read A Song of Ice and Fire before they made a TV show. No, I'm not one of those. I just watched the TV show and realised that I could read further than the TV show went.
Although it's a bit weird at the moment, isn't it? Have you read all of them?
Yeah.
You have. So there are certain plot lines that have stopped in the books that have continued in the program and vice versa, I do believe.
Yeah, and then now the TV show is way past the books as well, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
Apparently Gendry's coming back.
Which one's Gendry?
I always call Gendry Chris from Skins. He's Robert Baratheon's bastard.
Oh, yes.
Because you have to call him bastards.
Oh,
when
God,
you're
he's got to
talking
come
about
back,
Game of
hasn't
Thrones.
he?
He's Robert Baratheon's bastard, and he was mates with Arya Stark. The Robin Hood and the Merry Men guys took him away, didn't they?
The Brotherhood Without Banners.
Sold him to the Red Lady, and she leeched him, and then the Onion Knight.
Yes.
He put him on a boat like 4 seasons ago.
Yep.
And it's Chris from Skins. I always forget his name, which is really embarrassing because he's also a Nottingham Forest supporter.
You got something in common, so you have to remember his name, isn't it?
Yeah, Chris from Skins.
Okay. So, hi, Chris from Skins. You're not listening, but hi. So, yeah, he's got to come back. That's got to be integral to the plot at some point, I suppose, isn't he? He's in line for the throne. Yeah,
but there's also a Targaryen, several Targaryens.
Yeah, I suppose.
And half Targaryens.
But perhaps he'll just come along at the end, and he'll be like, and the Targaryens will all be dead, and dragons will have been killed and risen from the dead again and stuff, and it'll go mental, and then in the end, it'll just be him.
Because I don't spend hours on the internet looking at fan theory, I still have no idea how that show's going to end.
I don't think anybody has any idea. That's the great thing about it. You can theorise as much as you bloody want, but You just mean as viewers, you don't mean as in the showrunners. It's not the next Lost. No. They're not writing it as they go.
Forget how much I hate Lost.
I never gave it that much time. I got like halfway through the first season.
Never has a show owed me so much.
Iron Fist, go and watch that.
No, it's all right.
We'll talk more about Iron Fist in a minute.
We won't.
Yeah, we will.
Prison Break, Season 5.
Are you interested?
Nobody cares.
Good. I don't really care, but apparently it's quite an interesting thing because it disappeared and it's been gone for a long time, and then Netflix picked it up and all of a sudden it's popular again.
I watched Prison Break probably for about 4 or 5 episodes into Season 4.
Right.
So at that point, that was 2.5 seasons too much of television, of that show.
Okay.
That was in the days before I'd learned about sunk cost and just ignore it. Just if you don't like something, just don't carry on watching it.
So
I apply that rule to everything except for The Walking Dead. It appears at this point.
Well, you've got to have something trashy to leave on. I mean, Walking Dead, do you leave it on in the background while you're doing other stuff?
No, I think the good indicator of whether a show's good or not is like how quickly you take your phone out of your pocket.
Well, that's true.
I think Walking Dead's. There's sometimes you can just be like reading Twitter and The Walking Dead's on in the background.
With your 100 followers?
Yeah. Well, it went up to 101, but it's gone down to 100 again this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Fickle.
Did somebody
the internet's fickle place?
Did they sign up?
I probably said something a bit left wing for somebody, and they unfollowed me.
Or they signed up to get a Steam code and then buggered off again.
No, I didn't. No, that wasn't. No,
didn't happen.
Nothing happened.
So Prison Break's not worth my time then.
Prison Break's not worth anybody's time.
Okay.
To be honest, season 1's really, really good, and it'll make you want to watch it because of what happens at the end. Make you want to carry on watching it. But put it this way, they end up back in prison.
Moving on to comic stuff, then the Kingsmen. Did you see Kingsmen?
Yeah, I watched Kingsman on the plane back from Los Angeles.
Have you got any idea why Colin Firth might be in the sequel then?
Because it's a prequel.
That's a good suggestion.
That's probably...
It could well be.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to it, but maybe it is a prequel. Maybe I'm bloody stupid for not thinking of that in the first place. Who knows?
I quite enjoyed it. I thought the young guy, he was a bit of a dick.
Yeah, he's a good actor though.
Yeah, he was good. But he was just like, I just think, what was the worst thing when he was like, oh yeah, make sure you lock me in here so I can pop one up her bum.
He's still an outright chav at the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That it makes him a bit of a kind of...
But not in a nice... He's not even nice and charming, is he, by the end? He's a bit of a... Oh, lock me in the cell with this hot chick. I'm not calling her a hot chick. That's his attitude.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you're right. Have you seen Eddie the Eagle Edwards? Or it's just called Eddie? Is it called Eddie?
No, I haven't.
Or is it called Eagle? Or is it called Edwards?
Or is it called Eddie the Eagle Edwards?
Have you seen the movie?
No.
It's good.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman.
Yes, it is actually. Yeah, but it's good. It's light-hearted, funny, and just literally heartwarming. And it opens your eyes to what kind of ridicule that the poor bloke went through, and kind of warms your heart to him. It's very good. And I've got to admit, after I'd watched the movie, I ended up going with the other half through loads of old YouTube clips, because I make her watch really shit things, going through old YouTube clips of Eddie the Eagle Edwards on chat shows and things. And you know what? It is exactly how he was. That's how he was living. It's a good snapshot of his life.
For anyone who doesn't know, it's a really low budget British comedy, which are normally the best ones.
With the guy from Kingsman, yeah, and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Right, I said we'd talk about Iron Fist again, and we're bloody gonna, because I need to mention something. But Defenders, have you seen Daredevil, Luke Cage?
I've seen both Daredevils seasons.
Have you seen Luke Cage?
Nope.
Okay.
And I didn't watch Jessica Jones either.
Okay, so you're going to have all of them in Defenders. There's a release date for that now, which is the 12th of May. I don't know if people knew that at all.
12th of May when?
This year.
Really?
Yeah.
So Daredevil's going to be on the telly again this year?
Yes.
I will probably watch that then.
For some reason, the shows for the individual characters have been like 13, 14 episodes long, and the Defenders is only 8 episodes. To me, that makes no sense. They're drawing out, especially with Iron Fist, it's 13 hours of like patience testing TV, in my opinion. At first, I really enjoyed it, and then I got to episode 7, and I started to realise that in actual fact, this is really eating into my time where I could be doing other things. And exactly like you said,
like producing a podcast.
Yeah, or getting my phone out and looking on Facebook, which took a bloody preference to what I was watching on the TV. So my recommendation is, if you're going to watch Iron Fist, maybe you can do a hatchet job on it, and you can watch episodes 1 and 2 to get some idea of the characters, episode 7 to introduce you to some more kind of themes, and then maybe the last 2 episodes, and you can cover all you need to in 5 episodes.
There you go. Or you can just not watch it at all. That is the other option.
Have it on in the background while you're doing the hoovering.
So
maybe
Are you pleased that Defenders is only 8 episodes then?
I'm weirded out by the fact that it's shorter.
Yeah, but what if it's 8 really good episodes?
Then I will be a happy man.
And then, so will you feel robbed that it wasn't longer, or will you just be pleased that it was...
I'd rather they did a good job and we had less of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Less is more.
Absolutely.
I was talking about this the other day, about the guy moaning to Zack Snyder about his movie that hasn't finished editing yet, that the IMDb is saying is only 170 minutes long. And he's complaining it's not long enough. Yeah. I was like, no, that's 30 minutes too long already.
170 minutes does seem like a long movie, but we live in the age of the 2-hour movie.
Well, 2 hours is fine. But always remember, Commando is 88 minutes of just brilliance. Pure brilliance.
Is that the one with the pipe? Lit off some steam, Bennett?
Shit, I can't remember.
It's the one with the dump truck at the beginning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you call it a dump truck in America? Garbage truck. Whatever.
Anyway, what were we saying? Yeah, no, I'm fine with 2-hour movies if they're worth being 2 hours long.
Sure.
But when they go over 2 hours for no reason, and then there's a director's cut.
So
Batman v Superman.
That was actually okay. I thought the extended edition did it some favours. I realise it's got its issues, but the extended edition did help. And I tell you what else I really like, as we're talking about Zack Snyder, is the Watchmen extended.
What, the 184 week-long version of it?
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
I've seen like the 3-hour one.
Okay.
But I haven't seen the one with the boat called?
Tales from the Black Freighter.
Yeah, that's cut in as well, isn't there? There's like a 4.5 version of it.
It's great.
4.5 hour version
and
of it.
In honesty, if I think you probably have to be a big fan of the movie to watch it 5 times, like I probably have. That's really a hangover movie for me. There you go. That's a brilliant hangover movie for me.
What? Because you put it on and that's your whole hangover.
I don't have to think about anything else.
Because that's Sunday spoken.
I could probably do that and The Dark Knight back to back, and that's my day sorted, isn't it?
Yeah, The Dark Knight's overrated.
I love it.
It's overrated.
What do you mean it's overrated?
It's like it's overrated.
In what way?
It's just too long.
I don't think it is. I think the first one, Batman Begins, is too short, and they were too heavy.
I think Batman Begins is a brilliant film.
It's too heavy on the editing. It's really choppy. If you watch it again, if you look at the scene editing, it's just kind of a bit too short sometimes. You know, somebody will finish what they're saying and bang, it's cut. Then there's no kind of nice kind of like pause for effect on scenes and stuff.
Yeah, I genuinely, my favourite one's Batman Begins.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm still yet to be convinced that Christopher Nolan's a good film director.
Just watch the second one again at some point.
I've seen it probably about 3 or 4 times.
Have you?
It's good, but people bang on about it like it's the best film ever made. It's a very good performance. There's one really particularly good performance in it.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I just find Christopher Nolan.
You mean Commissioner Gordon? No.
Yeah, well, Gary Oldman's really good, isn't he? But Gary Oldman's really good in everything he does.
Yeah.
But Chris Nolan movies leave me a bit cold.
Okay.
I was so ready for Interstellar to be good.
It's the weird, like, fantasy twisty bits, though, isn't it? You don't like? Is that it?
No, I just like. There's some really weird artistic decisions made that I just find really weird with that film. Like, it's a it's a homage and
which film?
And a Interstellar. It's a bit of a homage and a bit of a shitty remake of 2000 AD. But they did these
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah. Yeah, 2001: A Space Odyssey is what I meant. No, my problems with Interstellar are they made a decision to always mount the cameras on the spaceships.
So you've got that.
But you never got this. You never got this sense of space.
Okay.
At all, because you never had any wide shots.
I've only seen it the once. I think I should probably watch it again, but I've never. You know what? That's probably the sign of a compelling movie, whether or not you actually want to see it again. And
I found
not been drawn back to it.
And a lot of my friends keep blowing hot air up Hanz Zimmer's ass as well. And I'm not a great fan of this organ thing that started in Batman and seems to be in every one of his movies. I really would like there not to be a weird War of the Worlds style organ horn of honk in Dunkirk.
So let's talk about Dunkirk. So that's on the list to talk about today.
Dunkirk.
There's some new footage. Did you see it?
No, I clicked on a link that you sent me and it was a bit of the score, which was really good.
Yes, okay. So the footage has been shown at CinemaCon. and the score is by Hanz Zimmer.
Yeah, I know.
And
that's why I said
the Hanz Zimmer score is available to listen to on YouTube. The new footage isn't, but we've had a trailer already, haven't we? So
we've had a proper trailer and we've had a teaser.
Yeah, I think it looks bloody good, personally.
My only complaint, and it's a really minor one, is Tom Hardy's the RAF pilot, and Cillian Murphy is the soldier.
You think it should be the other way around?
I think Cillian Murphy literally looks like a Second World War RAF officer almost exclusively all the time. Whereas Tom Hardy looks dress. Like he should have signed up from the East London abode that he's come out of, mainly from his character from Peaky Blinders.
Do you think it might be more of a case of who's going to get the most screen time? He's a bit popular at the moment, isn't he, Mr. Hardy?
I think they both are, aren't they? And I genuinely think at this point Christopher Nolan doesn't have to curtail to studios with those sort of things.
Maybe
he casts who he wants.
Yeah, true.
Which is Tom Hardy.
Is it the first time we've seen Tom Hardy in a Chris Nolan movie?
I think he's in.
He's in Batman.
Yes, he's Bane, but he's also in. I can hear the music in my head. I'm just watching the van tumble, going.
Oh, it's in Inception.
And I'm getting really annoyed with fucking Hans Zimmer's score.
Inception?
Yeah, Inception. He's in
Hans Zimmer as well?
Yeah.
He does a lot of Nolan movies then?
Yeah. They've, yeah.
Okay. Or stuff lightly connected to Nolan as well, because he did Superman, Man of Steel, didn't he? And and we mentioned...
He's very prolific as well, isn't he, at the moment, because he does a lot of work for Ridley Scott as well.
And well, his name's just everywhere.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything as good as Gladiator since Gladiator. End of story.
My favourite one is, we spoke about Tarantino and stuff that he'd written earlier on. True Romance. Do you remember the...
Yeah.
Dum, ba-dum, dum, 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 dum. One of my favourite scores, I think, of all time, and kind of underused in the movie. I've been to a Hanz Zimmer concert, actually, and heard that played live. It was very impressive. It's nice.
My brother and some of his friends have either been to the Albert Hall and watched a film.
Oh, with
the orchestra,
with live score,
with him and conducting a live orchestra.
Ooh, I just sat
cool.
and listened to about 20 different scores from different movies with live orchestra. It was good. It was entertaining, and the way they revealed different parts of the orchestra was nice. It was a nice surprise. You'd be sat there, and there'd be a nice simple piece of music playing, and you had like 16 people across the front playing all their instruments, and you're thinking, oh, that's it. And then a curtain would pop up at the back, and there'd be a bunch of people on brass and stuff. And then later on, it did it again, and it was,
choir.
Yeah, big
and
choir.
Then a choir comes out, and the choir's like twice the size of the orchestra.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we counted there were something like 58 pieces on the stage.
Yeah, I saw a similar. I saw a London Symphony Orchestra do some video game Legend of Zelda music.
Oh yeah,
and that was amazing at the Barbican. And there was about an 80-piece orchestra, and then about another 75 choir people came out for the end bit. And like when you're in a purpose-built room as well, for that sort, it's literally built
like
for
an amphitheatre,
and you
or
look
something.
at it. And you can see like all the intricate sound engineering that's gone into designing the shape of the. So you're basically in a giant conch.
Where were you?
Is that the right word?
Conch, a shell.
Yeah.
Were you in like an opera house? Oh, a Barbican. Is it an opera house?
It's the Barbican. I think you would call it an event space, but it's where the LSO. That's where they're based out of. So they play in that room every time they've
done all the same sort of intricate acoustic stuff with the walls and had it all set at lovely angles.
The room gets bigger.
Yeah.
As like obviously it starts narrow, so you're like in a speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Maybe I should go to the Barbican.
But anyway,
watch something.
We went right off on a tangent there. Back to Dunkirk.
We did. Yeah. Do we know anything else about Dunkirk? At this stage?
I can tell you about actually what happened. Because I've been to Bovington Tank Museum, and I'm quite into the Second World War.
Hang on, Bovington Tank Museum. We've not had this in the show before, because it gets cut out all the time.
Have you done a supercut of Bovington Tank Museum?
I think there is one. There's one hanging about. At some point or another, we'll put it in an outtakes and funny bits.
What happened
episode.
is the British Expeditionary Force got stranded on the beaches of Dunkirk after they got overrun by the German Wehrmacht. And the Prime Minister at the time, Winston Churchill, sent the Royal Navy there. And he also sent all small ships there as well. And we rescued lots of our soldiers off of the beaches of Dunkirk over about 3 or 4 days.
And were the Americans involved?
Nope, the Americans hadn't even entered the war at that point.
So it's very much a British movie. Hang on, have we got any American actors in this movie?
Probably. What I'm really looking for, this is genuinely going to be the first movie that I can think of in recent years that, probably since Private Ryan, where we're actually going to get a fair rendition of how much the Great Britain contributed to
the war against Germany.
The war against Nazi Germany.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because they got a bit of a bum deal. I know a lot of people complain about how the Americanization of Saving Private Ryan, but you look at Private Ryan and it is a story it's a very particular story.
Yeah, sure. That's allowed.
It's not a remake of The Longest Day. It's not about D-Day. So I'm looking forward to Dunkirk, because also what I want to see, I'm going to use this as a measure for whether Chris Nolan's a good filmmaker or not.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his films that people bang on about are really good because they've got a bit of a Chris Nolan twisty script.
What about what's the very first feature film that he did?
Memento?
Yeah. Oh, no, that was his second,
Chris
actually,
Nolan,
wasn't it?
like, twisty, like, that film's good because it's got a Chris Nolan wanky, twisty script.
So if you watch it in the proper, like, chronological order,
it falls apart, does it?
It's there's a...
I know there's a cut of it, isn't there? But
it's on the DVD. You can just select it to watch it in that order.
Can you do that with Pulp Fiction as well?
No. You should, though. Maybe, actually, the one I've mentioned it before, the one I want to see is Kill Bill. Just, fucked around with, like, chopped and changed around so that you get, like, a Redux version. That's what you call it, isn't it? That would be good. So if anyone knows of one, maybe you can leave me a link on the Facebook page.
Look at Christopher trying to engage with our audience of 4 people.
Well, no. We had a lot of downloads this week, I'll have you know.
We had a lot of downloads this week, but
it's been very good.
What we call a lot is not actually a lot.
All right, a lot for us, and we are literally we're skirting around 100 listeners a week. That's pretty solid. Right, let's bloody move on. So, apparently, we kind of joked about Brad Pitt having some concept art with him as Cable last week. Apparently,
Kapow!
Every week. So apparently that was a real thing. Apparently he was in the running.
Who? Brad Pitt?
Because the news this week is that he's dropped out of the running.
It's not news, Chris. This is one of those ones, every week you have to say something and I'm like, this is not news.
Oh, kids, it is.
It isn't news.
People will be
An
interested.
actor that got mentioned once in a podcast is not doing the thing that the other person thought he was going to do.
You know why it is news? Because it still means that bloody Michael Shannon is the front runner.
Oh, matey from Boardwalk Empire is only good in Boardwalk Empire because he plays a wooden plank in Boardwalk Empire.
I think we should do a petition or something.
Oh, don't turn into one of those people. You're on the roller coaster to 40. Your girlfriend's about to have a child, and you're like, yes, well, when I get back from Bovington Tank Museum, I'm going to make part of a petition about who I think should be in a film, even though I've got no financial involvement in the film. But personally, I think it should be this person. And I did all this with a really bad neckbeard and a fedora.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I'll shut the fuck up.
That's literally the opposite of what we should try and make.
I kind of won't be happy with Michael Shannon, though, and I can't see it working. Can you see?
Do you know what?
But you love Ryan Reynolds. Can you see him working opposite Michael Shannon? Does that like?
No,
does
but
that
if
sound
Deadpool
right to you?
could just rinse, he would take the piss out of him.
I suppose,
all the time,
and he'd just be a kind of dry, kind of character, which as it makes sense.
I'm just sad that Hal Jordan isn't in the Justice League movie.
You don't know that.
Yeah, but it won't be Ryan Reynolds.
No. No.
Well,
he's busy doing
are they
something
honestly
else.
going to keep Green Lantern secret?
Well, there's talk of him being in the movie in some way, shape or form. I suppose even. You know what? If it's just a bloody cut scene or end credits scene, that could still be what they're talking about, couldn't it?
It's so annoying because there's so much. You could do Green Lantern if you just did Green Lantern and were as irreverent as they are with Guardians.
Yeah.
then Green Lantern's like, it's ideal for that.
Absolutely.
I love mental, crazy things into space, so let's talk about Valerian.
Oh, yeah. Why not? Nice segue there, Ross.
That's called a snoozeway.
A snegway.
A snegway.
Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets, that has a new trailer.
Right. I
week.
have varying opinions on trailers, some of them quite strong.
Okay.
We'll
talk about one in a minute that will piss you off.
Some films I am so excited for, I don't know if I could see too many trailers for it.
Okay.
And Valerian is that film.
Right.
Every time I like that trailer, I think I've probably clicked on it about 4 times in the last week.
What, and then stopped it again?
No, just like I just
to watch it again.
click and watch it.
It's a good trailer.
It's very good.
It looks
the whole film looks brilliant.
It looks beautiful.
It looks fucking brilliant. It looks like Luke Besson went, "Oh, I'm just gonna make another film that's the Fifth Element, but also it's Guardians of the Galaxy and it's Star Wars, all in one film."
Okay, so yeah, stuff to say about. I love that you bring up like Fifth Element, and it's got that kind of feel to it, isn't it?
I'm going to watch Fifth Element before I go and see Valerian. Not like just before I go, but as preparation, I will.
That could be a hangover movie as well. Actually, that's a good one.
Gary Oldman again.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It feels to me like a bit of a kind of, I know what I did right with the characters and monsters and stuff in Fifth Element, and I'm going to bring that into it. The aliens have got that kind of like chunky kind of, like the big beasties that are in the bus have got the big. They feel like the lizard men in Fifth Element to me. There are echoes of it. And that's good because Fifth Element was great. The character design in it was fantastic. And I've got to say, the set pieces and just the way that you're right, the way this movie feels, I'm quite excited for it. And you mentioned about Star Wars. It's quite interesting because George Lucas has been accused of ripping it off.
How old is Valerian then?
It's older than Star Wars. I think it's 60s.
To be honest, this has been spoken about at length on a lot of more important podcasts than ours and other places, hasn't it? There are only like 4 or 5 stories
in the world ever. Yeah. So 7, I think.
Is it 7?
I think it's 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any scriptwriters out there, you can tell us. Is it 7?
And it's Valerian's a hero's journey, is it?
Yeah.
So,
and Star Wars is the same hero's journey over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. To a degree.
Yeah. They're all the same.
Yeah.
It's.
Although I think it's more the design, and the kind of concept. He's more kind of been accused of. If you look at the ship that appears in Valerian in the trailer, it looks very much like the Millennium Falcon.
To be honest, almost all of the concept art for Star Wars was done by Ralph McQuarrie and not actually done by... No, George Lucas didn't do any of that.
Yeah. So it's Ralph's fault, is it?
But Ralph McQuarrie is also regarded as one of the finest film designers of all time ever.
Right, okay. Do you know other stuff that he's done?
No.
Okay. I'll cut that out.
Yeah, cut that out.
Cool. So, might be worth having a look into stuff that he's done, perhaps. Have a little gander. Maybe we can present that at some point and see whether or not there are connections along the way.
But there seems to be like this, it's a bit of a running theme at the moment, isn't it? It's like, George Lucas ripped this off and ripped this off. Star Wars has got so big now, it's uncool, isn't it? It's like, there's certain parts of the internet are like, I like wrestling, and not ironically, also George Lucas ruined Star Wars. He didn't ruin Star Wars, he made Star Wars. I say this every week.
You're like a broken record. Do you want some Star Wars news, Ross?
Yeah, give us some Star Wars news.
Okay, so there was some test footage that was shown in the shareholders meeting for Disney a little while ago. That was shown at CinemaCon, apparently, and there was some concept art of Rey in a Jedi garb. Did you see those at all?
No.
Have a look. They're not very interesting.
No, I don't really need to see any. I'm just where Star Wars Celebration is this month now, isn't it?
So that's not May the 4th?
No.
Okay. That's a separate day. Okay.
Yeah, that's just a made up day.
May the 4th.
It's not. It's a real day, but the Star Wars bits are made up.
In honesty, it doesn't really give much away, and I'd like to see the footage at some point. I don't know whether we'll ever see it outside of Comic-Con walls or whatever, CinemaCon walls, doesn't really matter. But some news that did come out is the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie has been given a green light, and it's not going to be a trilogy, which is a good thing, and a bounty hunter movie, which I think was originally, if I'm not mistaken, there was talk of a Boba Fett movie. And
it's not going to be a Boba Fett movie.
It's going to be a general bounty hunter movie.
Right, see, what we don't need is them keep making movies about old characters and trying to shoehorn them into the canon. Like, what do we need to know about Obi-Wan Kenobi? The fact he's like a mad old man living in the desert should be all you need to know about him.
Have they covered any of that, though, at any point?
Yes, in the Clone Wars, well, obviously the prequels and the Clone Wars and in the comics and everything, in the new comics that are canon as well.
Right.
Fucking every now and then it flashes to an episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi keeping an eye on Luke, keeping him out of trouble.
So do other people arrive on Tatooine and he has to fend them off and stuff?
This drives me fucking potty, yeah? The most poignant bit in the whole of Star Wars, yeah, is in A New Hope, where Luke's finished fucking cleaning up the droids and he's like, right, I'm just going to go to the Imperial Academy because it's shit here on Tatooine. And his uncle's like, no, you're not. You're going to stay and be a farmer. And he's like, for fuck's sake, there's literally nothing to do here. And he goes outside and he nearly has a little cry and the sun's going down and London Symphony Orchestra and John Williams makes you go, oh, it's a bit shit growing up on Tatooine, isn't it? Yeah, and it's just one of the best shots of all the Star Wars, a big wide angle shot, and you just go, that's Star Wars, yeah, that's the whole premise of the whole fucking story, yeah? That's the start of the hero's journey, yeah? And then now they keep going back like young Indiana Jones and going, actually, Luke had loads of adventures. He probably shouldn't have left. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi's there, like, getting him out of trouble all the time, and you're just like, no, stop it.
What, secretly without ever meeting him and stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he knows about him, doesn't he?
Because he's like, without ever meeting him. But yeah, he knows what, sorry?
He knows. He says in episode 4, doesn't he? He's like, what does he mean, old Ben Kenobi?
Yeah. He's aware of him, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've obviously had run-ins, but they don't need to keep going back and mining this.
I guess my fear is with the Obi-Wan story. I'm pretty sure we're stuck with that, with him being on Tatooine and helping Luke out and stuff here and there in the background. The Bounty Hunter movie, I think that it's going to be the run of Boba Fett with Han Solo's carbon-frozen body.
There's a story. It was one of the first officially sanctioned Star Wars comics.
Yeah.
It's called Shadows of the Empire.
Yep.
Which is about Boba Fett trying to get from Cloud City to Tatooine with Han Solo and
so there's loads of other bounty hunters
and
trying
all the other bounty hunters like Zuckuss and IG-88 and 4LOM or 4LOM, however you say it.
Would you say it's a good story?
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
If they do, to be honest, personally, what I'd really like for them to do is a Boba Fett episode where it's just a Western in space, but the catch is, the little trick, and I'm not the first person to say this, loads of people have said this is a really good idea on the internet, is Boba Fett, the little Maori kid from Attack of the Clones, gets killed by somebody who just then becomes Boba Fett.
Oh, so
actually the Boba Fett the annoying little Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones is not the really cool, calculated, quiet Boba Fett who's in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi for all of about 3 minutes. You know what?
I heard somebody else literally mention the same thing today.
Or another good one, and I think it is, who did it? Who's the... Anyway, and a Brit... I can't remember his name. It's fallen out of my head. But a American comedian did a filibuster on Parks and Rec about it. Patton Oswalt.
Right.
The Boba Fett movie should start with a close-up shot of the Sarlacc pit.
Oh, yeah.
And it pans out, and then you either see a hand climb out, and it's Boba Fett's hand that's got his wrist launcher on his hand, or you just hear a rumble and an explosion, and then Boba Fett just comes flying out of the Sarlacc pit on his rocket pack. And you're like, yes, Boba Fett's back. And then they could just do a whole story of Boba Fett. But some of the Boba Fett comics are brilliant. Like some of the so there's a whole series of of Boba Fett comics of him just going on bounties and just like being really like an amazing bounty hunter.
He gets a lot of favour for a kind of underused, a bit useless character, doesn't he?
Yeah, the people who don't like Boba Fett complain that why does anyone like him? He's got like 2 lines of dialogue. He's on screen for about 30 seconds and he dies really shit.
But he's got the potential.
But he just looks so fucking cool, doesn't he?
Have you seen the test footage? Have you seen the armour?
When
the
it was white?
Yeah. I like it. I did have a figure.
The white one, the Black Series one that he bought.
Yeah, I bought it and then sold it for a profit.
Yeah.
So I wanted some pocket money.
Here you go, Chris making Boba Fett cool again. I like Boba Fett quite a bit. I've got a tattoo of Boba Fett's helmet on my arm, so that probably sums it up. Right, have we talked about enough Star Wars this week?
Yeah, and
so hang on, I just wanted to mention Star Wars Celebration is over the Easter weekend in Orlando, Florida this year, 13th to the 16th of April. I think it's fairly certain we're definitely going to get a Battlefront 2 trailer.
Ooh, which I've never played actually. I haven't played Battlefront.
By all means, come around my house and play it just to see how they literally made it look like the original Star Wars. They didn't make character models based on they didn't make them geometrically correct, so they went into the Star Wars vault at Lucasfilm and scanned the actual helmets.
Right.
So they've got all the blemishes and like slight manufacturing defects and it just makes it look so ridiculously actually like Star Wars.
Just uber cool.
And probably going to get Ep.8 trailer, aren't we, as well?
I bloody hope so.
Because it's about time. It's well overdue, isn't it?
Well, Episode 7, we were getting trailers in January, weren't we?
See, what would have happened? What happened with the other... I think this happened with Rogue One as well. We got an early trailer, and then at Celebration, they showed you, they did the behind-the-scenes sort of 3-minute reel.
Yeah.
They did that for Force Awakens and Rogue One, didn't they?
Yeah, sure.
And then we got another proper trailer about September, October, wasn't it?
Yeah, sounds right.
I don't mind not seeing a trailer, but I really want to see a trailer now. I would still go and see the film the day it came out, regardless of whether I saw a trailer or not. But I'm quite ready to see Luke Skywalker with the lightsaber.
Maybe that's why we needed early trailers for Episode 7, though, because it had been away for so long and people had lost heart with it, and it needed a little bit of a kind of Kickstarter, a reintroduction, just to ease people in.
Oh yeah, because their the first Force Awakens trailer was just very this looks thematically. This film, is going to be exactly what you want.
It was lovely shots of the Millennium Falcon doing the loopy-de-loop and the TIE fighters flying over the water and stuff. Not TIE fighters, X-wings flying over the water. And it looked gorgeous.
And all that brilliant music they've been using for the trailers, where it's like the Star Wars themes but played on pianos and stuff like that.
Yeah, true. It's kind of a modern thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, Disney. There's a load more stuff to say about Disney. With them owning Star Wars and stuff. In actual fact, we've got their release schedule for the next couple of years. But before we discuss that, just going to backtrack a little bit. Spider-Man, did you see the trailer for that at all?
Yeah, I think I did see it.
So it gives away a shitload of the movie, and quite a lot of people are up in arms about it. At the same time, we are kind of in a situation where there's a load more characters to introduce. You've got the Vulture's getting a lot of screen time in the trailers. His crew.
Is that Michael Keaton's character?
That's correct, yeah, sorry. And you've got his crew, who are, if you've ever heard of a comic called Damage Control at all?
Nope.
Okay, so Damage Control are the people that go and clean up the mess after the Avengers have had a massive scrap somewhere. There's supposed to be a TV series of that coming along, but it seems to have kind of disappeared at the moment. So you've got the Tinkerer as well. So I think the premise is, and this could be massive spoilers, maybe I won't say it. You've got the Tinkerer to introduce as well as Donald Glover's character, whoever he's going to be. And I don't think he's going to be the Tinkerer. So you got some people sort of saying, oh, the trailer gives too much away, and at the same time, there's still lots to kind of learn. Two sides two arguments there, I think, maybe conflicting. What do you think?
Two sides to an argument we have on this podcast every week about trailers.
What?
Does
it give too much away?
Yeah, is it too long? Is it not long enough? Or is it just right?
Because we need a sweet spot.
There's a Goldilocks zone of trailers.
There is. And quite a lot of the time, the people that put the trailers together do not get it right, do they?
No. Should we go through this Disney release schedule?
Hang on, there's something else I wanted to say about... Yeah, okay, so bollocks. The Spider-Man trailer, like with all the trailers, it's linked below. You can go and watch it if you want. But it does give quite a lot away, so just to pre-warn you. And like we said last week, there's a Silver Sable and Black Cat movie that Sony want to start production on this bloody autumn. That kind of worries me, the fact that they're saying that, because if there's one thing we know about Sony in the past is that you shouldn't bloody rush these things.
No, just have a strong leader with a coherent narrative.
Yeah,
like just get this shit written down properly and do what Marvel have done, Disney have done with the MCU.
I'm pretty sure Marvel, the reason it works though is because they take their time, and they have taken their time with it, and they've been given the artistic license to just kind of chill out and do what they want, instead of being forced and hampered. What's the word?
Hampered.
Is it hampered?
Word. Yeah.
Forced and hampered by the bloody studio all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think Disney, we've spoke about this at length as well. Disney are very good at going, who is the best person to be put in charge of this? And then they just go, oh, it's this guy here. Let's put him in charge of this and let him get on with it.
Yeah.
And then they don't have to do anything else because fucking giant dump trucks of money just keeps coming into their car park and reversing, dumping all the money every time they make a movie.
And I tell you what, let's run through this release schedule, and it will bloody open your eyes to exactly how many properties they own, and just how much money they're going to be making in the next few years. So still to come in 2017, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Cars 3, Pirates of the Caribbean, Salazar's Revenge, Thor Ragnarok, Coco, which is the Day of the Dead movie, and Star Wars The Last Jedi. Those are all bloody huge, aren't they?
Yeah, is Cars 3 Pixar?
Yeah.
And is it that Pixar's movie this year?
It must be.
And Coco's the Disney animation movie this year?
I assume so, yes. Okay, 2018 is looking very chock full. So you've got Black Panther. Oh, and these are in pretty much a date order as well. So the Star Wars one, I think, is going to surprise you because it's halfway through the year. So Black Panther, Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph Breaks the Internet. So that's the sequel to the awesome Wreck-It Ralph movie. A Wrinkle in Time, which is a young adult movie about a girl and her father who go on an adventure in time. It was made as a movie in 2003, apparently, so this may be a remake. And then you've got Avengers Infinity War. You've got the Han's solo movie, Dumbo, Ant-Man and the Wasp, The Incredibles Part 2, Mulan live action, Gigantic, which is a Jack and the Beanstalk movie, and then Mary Poppins Returns around Christmas time.
That's fucking nuts.
That's crazy.
That's some really, really mental shit.
That's a lot of money. If you imagine, I don't know, if each of those made a $500 million, 50 million, 500 million. If each of those made 500 million, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, there's 10 movies there.
So they're
5 billion.
Yeah, we're talking probably more than that, aren't we?
Yeah, probably. So, yeah. And then 2019, they've got on the slate Captain Marvel, the fourth Avengers movie, an Indiana Jones sequel that we talked about at some point or another.
What, Indiana Jones 4?
That would be number 4, Bobbin. Don't panic. Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4, which I don't know if I think...
Have you seen the shorts, the proper Pixar
Yes.
Toy Story shorts?
Yes, I have.
That are all amazing. There's one where they go they end up in this game of... they end up with this newfangled toys, and they're all like Buzz Lightyear. They don't know they're toys.
Yep.
You seen that one?
That's the more recent one, I think.
That's the latest one, isn't it? But they're all really good, and they're all voiced by the proper voice actors and stuff, aren't they?
They are indeed, yeah, worth a watch. However, Toy Story, despite what we've said before about animation, is a bloody brilliant trilogy. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's got a really nice story arc, and I think it ended quite nicely. The fourth one sounds like a cash-in to me.
This is Disney we're talking about. Yeah. It's all cash at this point.
Oh, that's a good point. What have I just said about 2018? It's all a bloody cash-in. And then the other one on the slate, of course, is Star Wars Episode 9. There's rumours of that actually appearing halfway through the year rather than at Christmas.
It's funny that they've decided to do that.
It is. Well, there's no Star Wars movie at Christmas in 2018, you notice.
Yeah. I've got a sneaky feeling, if anything's going to happen, Han Solo's going to get pushed.
You reckon?
Yeah. They've probably put that flag in the sand there for that movie, and it's, if anything's going to happen, it'll probably move.
You reckon it'll get moved back?
Yeah, because if they give themselves room, don't they, it's going to have... The post-production on any Star Wars movie is going to be huge, isn't it?
So we're talking about maybe swapping that and Mary Poppins over for the Christmas movie?
I think they probably won't eat into each other's box office too much.
Oh, do you not think?
No. Do you not think that Mary Poppins could come out on the same week as Star Wars and not ruin the other movie?
Depends what else is going on with other studios. You'd want to wait and see what the other studios' announcements are, wouldn't you?
No other studios are going to take on Mary Poppins and Star Wars, are they? That's fucking mental.
That's very, very true. But then again, look at the October this year.
It's like what Rockstar did when they announced Red Dead Redemption's called, Red Dead Redemption 2. They just said it's coming out this fall, and everyone's just like, right, we won't go anywhere near that.
Everyone pull out.
Get away from the biggest game. Get away from the 500-ton gorilla.
Yeah, absolutely. And so fucking Disney, you're gonna make a lot of money. Well done.
On a lighter note, let's talk about the best trailer we all saw this week. The remake for Stephen King's We All Float Down Here.
Yeah, it's true, actually. We can talk about it because Bobbin's not here. Bobbin, if you're listening to this, then probably time to tune out, mate, because we're going to talk about...
Chlorophobia.
Stephen King's...
Is that right?
It is, I think, Chlorophobia, yeah. And, it's not exactly... like Bobbin's the only case of it in the world as well. So what we were going to do with Bobbin this week, if he was going to be on the show, is we were going to replace the title of the movie with Pogo, and we were going to make out like it was a killer gorilla movie on the basis that he might then be able to talk about it. As he's not here, we don't actually have to do that. So I don't know why I'm mentioning it, really. No,
we can talk about how I think it looks really good.
I think it looks really good as well. In actual fact, have you seen the trailer comparison movie?
Yes, I watched that.
On
Did
YouTube.
You see it?
I'm going to put a link to that link to that below, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, it's worth a watch. They're surprisingly similar, aren't they?
Yeah, they are very similar.
Is it bad that I laughed when the little kid knocked himself out on the sign?
Just the world we live in now. You watch a load of fails on YouTube and you get desensitized to kids hurting themselves.
I didn't laugh the first time, but the second time when I showed it to somebody else, I definitely did, because it looks a bit slapstick. Shoot me, I'm a bad person. Yes, so what do we know about...
Pennywise the Clown is back, isn't it? It's not a sequel, it's just a remake. It's never a remake when it's like the Coen brothers said about what's the True Grit? What's True Rooster Cogburn?
Yeah. True Grit is the original movie as well, though.
Yeah, but
Rooster Cogburn's the sequel.
Right. They made their version of True Grit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said it's not a remake, it's their version of True Grit.
Yeah.
Because it's based on something that's an original IP.
Right.
It's like how The Magnificent Seven wasn't a remake.
Right.
Actually, no. The original Magnificent Seven's not a remake. It's a retelling of Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
And the new Magnificent Seven is a remake.
Right. And Okay, maybe Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's not a remake.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is one of the worst films I've ever seen.
It is very bad, but my point is that it's not a remake. It's a retelling of and it's actually closer to the book than
it is.
than the Gene Wilder version.
It's not good.
But it's not good. Not
No.
good. What the hell with Oompa Loompas? Oh, it just depresses me. Right. So fuck Tim Burton.
Yeah, fuck Tim Burton. Apart from Batman and Batman Returns, fuck Tim Burton.
Yeah, and possibly
You
bigger
big weird
fish.
goth.
Yeah, stop being such a weirdo and messing up stuff. Yeah,
Stop ruining everything.
So what do we know about Pennywise the Clown? Do you know much about him?
I've never read it, but I have seen it, and it was a long time ago. Because when I saw the trailer comparison, I was like, I swear that film's not as old as it is, but it's definitely really old.
You've read other Stephen King, though, haven't you?
But I also know that in 11/22/63, I think it's 11/22/63.
It is.
He goes to the place because Stephen King's
the main character goes to.
The main character goes to the same place in It, and they talk about not it, but all the kids going missing in that town.
Right. He crosses over his stuff quite a lot like that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think Pennywise gets mentioned in a couple of books specifically as well. I wrote them down. They're here somewhere. Oh, it was Tommyknockers and
Dead Air, the sequel. Dead Air 2, Pennywise.
You know why? It's because I bloody to hide the fact that we were talking about Stephen King's It from Bobbin.
You made up made up fake versions.
I did.
For
I made
everything.
up fake versions of the names of the books.
Stephen King's really famous book, The Sit.
The Sit. Oh, there it is. Right. So the
book he wrote about the schoolboy who gets secret powers, Larry.
Larry, and the car, Pristine.
Yeah. He wrote some other books under a pseudonym. He wrote one called The Walking Woman.
Very good. If you got that one, then good on you. What I was trying to find was the Knockers. The Tommyknockers. Pennywise is mentioned in that, and Dreamcatcher. Oh, in actual fact, Tommyknockers, interestingly enough, is set after Stephen King's It. So, if you think that the kids in the little town there killed him off, then you're wrong.
They just drove him away.
Yeah,
because he's. I don't know what the right phrase is. I know it's in my head. Pennywise is like Pennywise isn't Pennywise. Pennywise is just a projection, isn't it?
Pennywise is.
This is always the problem with the original It movie. Is when they finally see it is the worst stop motion spider ever conceived of.
Okay, I think the point you're trying to make is that, and in actual fact, maybe for people that have a problem with clowns, just kind of in the book, he isn't a clown all the time. He's just whatever the kids are scared of. And all right, you might see him in clown form a bit more often. Not that I've read the book, by the way. This is just what I gather from reading up on stuff. But in the book, he is, like, for instance, other monsters from the Universal Monsters collection. So he's the creature from the Black Lagoon. He's the werewolf. He's Frankenstein. He's all these things. He's a spider.
Is he the vampire from Salem's Lot? Because that's a Stephen King book as well.
I don't know.
Oh, who knows?
Know.
But he's just literally the essence of evil, isn't he?
He's a shape-shifting, illusionist, telepathic, mind-controlling being from another planet or dimension.
It's terrifying.
And he's been on Earth for a long time. Like several billion years, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
He must have been bored. He didn't have any drain covers there weren't drain covers to hide behind when he was trying to talk diplodocuses into his cave.
We all float up here, up a tree, or in a bush.
Yeah, has he? No, in all seriousness, what you were saying about him being like 3.5 billion years old, is that actually in the book?
I don't know if it's in the book or whether or not that's just been implied in other works or by Stephen King at some point or another.
Is this book too long to be a movie? Because it's a TV movie, isn't it?
Stephen King,
two-parter, isn't it?
Stephen King has said if he had written the script, it would be a 30-hour miniseries. So that probably answers that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they making Stand?
They did The Stand.
They've done The Stand, but they're talking about doing it again, aren't they?
They're doing a lot of his properties, aren't they?
I think that we're in the golden age of television. Put Stephen King on the television.
It's happening.
Like Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
It's other properties, other Stephen King properties that are coming this year. The Dark Tower coming on the 28th of July. Stephen King's It is landing on the 8th of September. And then there's a TV series based on The Mist and Mr. Mercedes that are about to kick off shooting. And there's another one as well. Oh, it's called Throttle, which is something to do with Duel. Is that a Stephen King book, Duel?
Duel? What, the Steven Spielberg movie?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
could be.
Am I making that up?
You might be making that up.
Is there a Stephen King movie or a Stephen King story about cars and stuff killing people?
Yes. It's called... There is a book about...
Killer Cars Eat Paris.
No, it's got a name. It's just got a name, hasn't it? It's a name
is it called Throttle?
Like Carrie.
Is it called Throttle?
No, it is...
it's not Christine, then?
Yes, I think it is Christine.
That's not about a killer car.
Isn't it?
It's about a car that... Well, maybe it does kill people. Maybe it does kill people. But I just remember it being able to just kind of, put itself back together after a horrific crash. So,
I haven't read a lot of...
so maybe it's like Death Proof in the 50s. Sorry.
I haven't read a lot of Stephen King. I've read The Stand, which is fantastic, but it's fucking massive.
I read Thinner. That was a good one.
And I've read
fairly
the
recently.
Bachman books as well.
Oh, okay.
And The Long Walk's amazing.
Okay.
They need to
you mentioned that before.
Yeah, I think Frank Darabont's got the movie rights to it, but he hasn't done anything with it yet. I think, Frank Darabont ended up with the movie rights to loads of Stephen King, didn't he?
I think there might be a movie kicking around of Thinner as well, somewhere along the way. And Paul, when he was on last week, mentioned about Stephen King hating Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining.
Yeah.
I went and had a little gander about online, and it turns out there was a TV miniseries made of it on Stephen King's request. Specifically, he funded it just because he hated the movie so much.
That's brilliant.
And you know what? It's pretty... I watched a little bit of it, and it's
not very good.
Have you seen The Langoliers?
No.
Don't. It's horrible. And this has got the same kind of production values, unfortunately.
I don't think we...
So,
sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, it's just...
Don't bother.
Yeah,
I don't think we can reel off all these Stephen King properties without mentioning Misery as well. I think a lot of Stephen King stuff was not cinema released, was it? I think a lot of...
Misery wasn't it?
Some of just maybe remember, like, things like The Stand and stuff, they were like TV movies, weren't they?
Yeah, it's because they're like
too long, aren't they? Yeah.
So they need to be TV miniseries, extended movie,
the one
TV
thing
movies.
That the one thing that makes me think that this can all come out good and is 11/22/63 was really good.
It was.
I read the book and I found out they were making a TV show halfway through reading the book, and I just thought, I don't know how this is filmable, and they managed to pull it off.
They did a good job, actually, didn't they?
They compressed it well. They took
did.
out...
It wasn't too long. There was no filler in there. It's worth a watch, definitely.
It's very good.
If you don't know what that is, it's a time travel movie about a guy going back in time to stop the assassination of JFK, or not.
Yeah.
In whichever the case may be.
It's annoying that the book isn't called 22/11/63 in this country.
Yeah, true. You have to think about it way too much. Anyway, so another little fun fact about Stephen King's It is the guy playing Pennywise this time around is Bill Skarsgård, which is the son of Stellan Skarsgård. That's the guy that played the scientist fathery type bloke in Thor and the Avengers movie.
Okay.
Do you remember him? And his wife, Bill Skarsgård's mother, is also a movie star, and so are his bloody 3 brothers. Whole family of them.
Brilliant.
All on IMDb. They're all in stuff that you'll recognise as well.
What we can't do is finish our chat about it on that fact.
Can't we?
No, I think we have to mention that Tim Curry's brilliant in the original.
He is, and you know what
the
else I
makeup's
found
incredible,
out?
and he's terrifying. But he is brilliant in that.
You know that they say that it was actually his own hair.
Really?
Yeah, apparently so.
Hey, it's mental.
That's quite crazy.
But he's very good at hamming it up and overacting and chewing up scenery and stuff, and appearing in video game cutscenes and stuff. But he's particularly good in It and Annie.
And Annie. Oh, God, yeah, he is
an
Annie,
Annie,
isn't he? And,
but I mean, Annie's like a piece of theatre anyway, isn't it?
And the obvious one that I know him from is Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
So, I might head off to the cinema tomorrow to see Ghost in the Shell.
Tell me all about Ghost in the Shell on the podcast next week.
I will. I watched the original anime in preparation for it yesterday.
And you made your pregnant girlfriend watch it.
I did. She fell asleep.
Bearing in mind, both me and Chris have girlfriends, and they are not in the slightest bit nerdy. So when we ever try and get them to... I never try and make Anna watch anything sort of past Star Wars, really. And Chris comes every week, he's like, oh, I made Julie watch this. And then I just turn around to Julie.
It's not a case of making
Why haven't you broken up with him yet?
It's a case of
trying to... carrying his child.
It's a case of trying to influence her into being a bit more open-minded when it comes to films and things.
Me and Anna watch Hacksaw Ridge, and that's really good. We should talk about that someone else when I don't need food and sleep.
Good. It's very true. Right. Okay. Hopefully we'll have some Ghost in the Shell stuff to talk about next week, and I can do a comparison of that and the original anime.
We're trying to have more people on the podcast and a topic next week. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Could you like, share, and do all the doodahs? Preferably subscribe on iTunes and leave us a review, because 82% of all podcasts are downloaded via iTunes.
Ooh, that's an interesting fact.
That's a fact, isn't it?
And of course, you can find us on Facebook. And if you've ever got any questions or anything for us, you can always send them via email to snoowiththecrew@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's right. Follow me on Twitter. My name on Twitter is Roscoe Murphy. I have 100 followers because I obviously upset somebody this week, and it was 101. So
and
I'd like to get up to 102 if that's possible.
We've also got a Twitter account for Snoo with the Crew as well.
Yeah, fuck that. Just follow me.
Surprisingly, it's called @Snoo with the Crew. It's probably more important that you follow that than Ross, but that's a matter of opinion, isn't it, Ross?
Yeah. Follow Chris on the internet at Snoo with the Crew, because he doesn't have any other creative endeavours anymore.
I do.
Because we monopolised all this time.
I'm trying to make music.
Follow Adam Gatchell at Adam Gatchell Arts on Facebook, I think.
And Bobbin Dixon Comedian. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you again next time. Say goodnight, Ross.
Good night. Say goodnight, Chris.
Good night, Chris.
Oh, I don't know what that joke's from. Do you?
I think it might be the two Ronnies.
Yeah. Good night.